This is an introductory ChatGPT training that I did with a brand new client who knew a little bit about ChatGPT, was using it in their business, but they wanted to know how to unlock more features and really take full advantage of everything that ChatGPT or AI. So in this video, you're going to learn not only about ChatGPT and its advanced features, but other AI and entrepreneur business tools that you need to be using if you want to use the latest technology to grow and scale your business without having to hire additional employees. These are the best productivity tools, the best website. We go into Notion, TickTick, ChatGPT, Chatbase, Claude, Perplexity, and so much more. This is a great video where you'll learn something new. So if you want to level up and take your AI skills to the next level, I highly recommend joining my AI Mastery course, and the link is below. Enjoy the video. There we go. So this is the first app that I recommend people start with because they have what it does. It allows them to organize all their documents, files, notes, websites, anything that's information related, all can go into Notion and be saved, for example. And it makes it very easy just to like store notes, files, documents, everything in there, so that you, when you retrieve them, you could have all your notes very easily, have all your files nice and organized and stuff like that. So Notion is the first one that I recommend. And Notion's affordable. It's like $10 a month, but it's meant for knowledge management. So you stay organized with all your notes, files, from there, because a lot of people write on paper, or they'll have Apple Notes, or they'll have Google Docs, for example, and it's not really efficient. But you need one tool to store anything from there. So it's like
What we use here is Basecamp.
Basecamp. Let's see.
So
Yeah.
it's really a project management tool, but because we didn't have anything else, we create little dividers and have all the notes for things that we are working on a particular project.
Oh my God, yeah, yeah. Actually, because at the price of $15 per month, you can do everything that you could do in Basecamp. You could do in Notion, because Notion also allows to do task and project management. So you could create projects with like a Kanban board, what a lot of people do. So here you have a list of tasks, projects. You could assign them to different people in your team, and then they could create the notes, tag the next person in the team. They'll get a notification. They're all done in Notion, so that much like a little Kanban board, so you could track projects, tasks, and files from there. So especially if you're using because Basecamp could get expensive too.
I'll have to look and see what I spend on that.
Yeah, you're probably $15 a month per employee, or if you guys get over the file storage limit, which most probably you will, it's Jesus $2.99 a month, which is ouch. Notion for the pricing is just $15 per user per month and unlimited storage, which is the really cool part. So a lot of social media creators or content creators start using Notion to organize. Like they have to create a newsletter, so they'll start from idea and work through the same features like you do with Basecamp. But Notion is much more flexible as far as that. Now that's level one. Level two is a task manager. Something where you're like, I need to manage all the tasks and projects that I do both in my personal life and in my business, for example, or with my team, for example. And I need it to sync with my calendar, and I want it very easy to use. Do you use Mac or PC? Just curious.
Both.
Awesome. Definitely adopt more Mac, because a lot of these tools work seamlessly on Mac. Windows is becoming very frustrating for users to stay up to date with any of the features and stuff. So
And this is the task manager.
yeah, this is, well, just hardware wise on the base level. Just using a Mac, because I coach a lot of seniors as well too, and the first thing I do is get them off Windows or Android and onto Mac and iPhone. It could be the cheapest Mac, doesn't matter, but just from there they're no longer fighting the hardware. Now they could just work creatively and effortlessly, and things just work in a sense. Then you could use this tool. This one I recommend too. This one's a game changer. This is called TickTick, Tick. TickTick is it's like only $3 a month, which is super affordable. But it is.
What was the one that was the task manager? What was that?
Oh, absolutely. Now Notion, This is called Notion, Notion.
So the chat and the task managers both from Notion.
Yeah, you want it. They're technically kind of separate. If you're basically an organization and you're work just like with Basecamp, you have team members, a Kanban board, and each person is managing a project in a pipeline, for
Right.
example. Definitely dump Basecamp is too expensive, and the features are you don't get that much features. You want to adopt a Notion. Everything you could do in Basecamp, you could do in Notion, and then think of it, and then it's very flexible and customizable for projects, tasks, and but the main heart is knowledge management, documents, files, notes, and stuff like that, for example. Um, then what I recommend on the other side is a task manager, something specific to doing like personal tasks. This is just separate from like organization level task management. This is like, hey, I need to run my personal life, and if I have a business or other projects I'm working on, I need something simple, easy that will sync with my calendar, make it very easy to do projects, and that's TickTick. And with TickTick, it allows you to very easily create tasks, assign them, it syncs with your calendar because Notion won't sync with your calendar, but this will too. You could create projects. You could also have team members in here too. And it's probably the most seamless little task manager where you just have simple lists of personal tasks, for example, or business tasks. So I keep them like two separate lists. And then when you create tasks, like say, for example, here, this is a task for like a grocery list. Oh, here's nice little checklists for all the things you have to do, say if you go to the grocery store or something like that. So it allows someone to save, and it's very easy to use, which I really like. So those are the base two. Just base two, what I have people just allow. That's going to allow them to remember anything, any information, documents, files, anything that they're working on, and quickly find and retrieve stuff. And then with Task Manager, now they can plan their day, plan their week, plan their month, and efficiently work without that overwhelm of like, oh my God, what do I have to do today? Or like, say for example, as a demo, my documents actually say for okay, so I work with many different clients one on one. So in Notion, I have a list of all my clients. So I'm like, oh, my client calls me up and he's like, hey John, what are we supposed to do this week? And I'm like, I don't not secretly I'm like, I don't know, let me go check Notion. So I'll go to Notion and it opens up this little, it's like an infinite document right here. And so in it, I'm like, oh yeah, Junior, you wanted to work on a Canva reel, and then you wanted to work on a Facebook group. And oh, what have we done in the past? Good question. We did that Google ad in the past, and on this day we did this. So it's basically it's a fancy note taker basically. So you could stay organized with all your notes in one app. And then, for example, like TickTick, for example, this is my TickTick right here.
What's Tick Tick?
Oh,
Tick Tick is under.
for tasks and projects. Very simple.
Okay.
So Notion is for files and notes, and then TickTick is for tasks and projects. So what do I want to remember? It's like a second brain, and then TickTick is like, what do I have to do today, tomorrow, for example. And so in TickTick, I have two lists, one for work and one for personal. So like in work, I have to create a meetup group, for example. And I'm like, oh, meetup group, there's a lot of things I have to do, for example, to do that. But it's organized here by day. I know step one all the way to step done. I have little notes to remind me, oh, what should I write for the description? Oh, what should I write for? What are we going to do? But it's all saved in here. And then I get a nice little calendar where I can see all the tasks I've completed in the past if I want to go back to past the final. And I can plan out my next week, for example, to see, well, basically, what tasks am I going to do over this week, for example. And the goal of these tools allows you to save it so it's not in your brain. Because our brain is for having ideas, but not for storing ideas. And that means because there's too much information, honestly. We get overwhelmed. What do I have to do? Where's that notes? What's been done? What hasn't been done? So just adopting these two tools already, my clients get more clarity, they get more organized, and they're able to just move the needle in the life as far as get stuff done efficiently with less effort. So that's the base level. Now we could get into the fun part of AI from there. Now, AI, there's two tools which I recommend. Are you guys on the ChatGPT Plus plan?
I don't have it in front of me. I don't remember.
Cool.
I know it's ChatGPT.
For sure. Highly recommend, whether it be ChatGPT, there's two what I call AI personal assistants. There's ChatGPT, which is one, and there's another one which is called Claude.
CLAUDE.
That's correct, right here. So,
And
mhm.
some of us are using the free version, some are using the pay version of
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
that's perfect. The only time that you would use the paid plan is when you're trying to uh, when you have a project or task that you want to do over and over again, and you want to build a little chatbot that knows everything about that project. For example, like say for example when you create your newsletters. And we're like, yeah, we write our newsletters in this style, with this call to action, with this special tip. We have the specific format of how we create
So you
our
go back to
newsletter.
that same template.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Creating
get it.
templates. So in ChatGPT or the Plus version, that's where creating what's called custom GPTs is the real ability. For example, so I'm on the paid plan. So what that means on the left side, I have this little Explore GPT right here. So if I click on that, on the right hand side, I get a little button that says uh, create create my own little, and GPT just means personal assistant, or basically like personal assistant. I want this person to be just good at this one single thing. And let's say on the left hand side you can chat with ChatGPT to say, hey, we're going to create our own personal assistant for this specific task. And
Okay.
I'm going to go just down here, and now they call it prompt engineering, but basically it's being very descriptive of what you want this little robot to do. So I write a newsletter uh, in the following format. When you do, we're going to actually go to this real quick just so you can see this. When you give ChatGPT an instruction, for example, let me go to this slide. Prompt engineering just means giving the instruction to the AI for it to do some task or some output, basically. And there's three parts to it. There's the role. Hey, ChatGPT, you're a doctor, lawyer, writer, copywriter, marketer, life coach. Just give it some role specifically. Then the second thing you give it is what task do you want it to accomplish, for example. Hey, you're a writer. We're going to write a newsletter specifically for our members. And then lastly, number three is the format right here. So there's three parts. And this just allows you to give more context and information to ChatGPT so that it gives you a much better output. And you could do this with any AI tool, basically. It doesn't matter. So that's what we're going to do here with ChatGPT. We're going to say, you are a newsletter writer. Uh, we create a, what is it? It's a
Monthly.
monthly, nice monthly newsletter about a topic. I want, and now, so I'm like, that's a little context. Now we're gonna get into the task. I want you to, I will give you, let's put it this way. I will give you a topic and you will write a newsletter in the following formats. Cool. So I'm doing Shift Enter, which allows me just to kind of space it out for aesthetics. I'm going to say, here is the attention grabbing headline. Then we do 3 key points summary, or like take
3 points takeaways. A easy to understand blog.
Let me just tell her, call
Oh
her
yeah,
back.
go for it. No worries.
Donna, I'm on the other call. I'll call you back.
And then at the very end, a call to action to follow for new updates, for example. So basically what I did is I gave it a framework, a structure, because really the only thing would change is our topic. So that looks good. So I'm going to say, okay, we're going to give this a ChatGPT. Interesting. ChatGPT is having, they're probably flooded with requests. That's okay. We're going,
And how much is the upgrade?
$20 a month for the paid plan, basically. So,
and is it for $20 per month per person or per company?
Per person, and then there is a company version, but that's a little more like a team version. But I think you have to have like a certain requirement or a certain number of people. When you go on their team plan, it allows you to share like a conversation history with your team, for example. But even if people were on their own separate individual plan, you could still like share a conversation. Like say I had this chat, for example. If I wanted to share this with someone else, I could just click the three little dots right there, click share. Just zoom out. Oh, I'm zoomed in too much. There we go. So I'll just click three little dots, click share, and then I could create a link. It'll create a special something.com, and then I could give this to another team member, this little link, I could share it, and they'll get this whole chat history, for example. But that's one way. Let me try this custom GPT one more time.
I usually just cut and paste.
Let's see. ChatGPT. Well, say for example, I have another example here. This is, we'll do this. Actually, this one's a course assistant. This one's cool. Let's go to edit. Cool. So this is an example of when I used to create courses. I needed a little robot to help me create courses or help me write the scripts and stuff like that. So we gave it a name. Hey, you're an AI course assistant. Awesome. What's your goal? You're going to help me create an AI tool course script with demos and practice tasks for business users. Okay, just very simple. And then here, this whole description right here, just being very descriptive to say, hey, you assist the user in writing course scripts for teaching AI tools, specifically ChatGPT. We want it to be blah, blah, blah. The tone should be casual. So just being very descriptive of how you want, because I create scripts all the time, for example. So now, instead of starting with a blank chat, for example, using custom GPTs allow me to accomplish projects or repetitive stuff faster and easier. So now I'm like, okay, cool. Another cool thing too is, say you had some PDF files of some previous newsletters, you could download those and you could do one of two things. You can upload it into a custom GPT and say, here's examples of our last 3 newsletters, follow the same format. So you could upload reference files, or you could also upload, if you guys have, say, a PDF document that has all the whole history of your organization, all the things that you've done, knows everything about it, so that now this little agent, you're like, yeah, add our history here, also add our top events that are going on, blah, blah, blah. And so now this little agent knows everything about that and will pull that information from you could upload basically any file, PDF, images, even Excel sheets. But so now if I'm like, hey, so now the information, this is all pre-information. So I don't have to write any of this again. So when it comes time to, I'm like, oh, I got to now write a new course. I would click my little AI bot right here, and you can see right here it says, oh, AI course assistant. I'm like, cool, I'm in that, my own custom chatbot, and I'm going to say, write a course script about AI for marketing. I could be much shorter in my prompts now because he knows all the background kind of thing. He knows how I like the format, the style, what should it
How do you know
do.
he's a boy?
Could be a boy, it could be a style. I mean, you could style it any way you be humorous, be
I'm
make it
kidding.
like a sci-fi. But this is great because then it knows a lot of the stuff already, and I don't have to like I don't have to enter a lot of information in this chat right feature right here too. Um, so these are what's called again ChatGPT's custom little assistants that you could program for a specific task or project that you're doing over and over again. Um, I want to also introduce you to another AI tool. Have you ever heard of Perplexity?
No.
Wonderful, wonderful. I love it. Perplexity, this one is so helpful. Oh my gosh. Perplexity replaces Google. So if you go to Google and you ask Google a question, Google's going to say, here's 1,000 websites, good luck. And you got to go read all those articles to try and find the answer. What Perplexity does is you give the same question to Perplexity, and Perplexity is going to search the web. It's going to read the top 5 or 10 articles, and then it's going to summarize them and give you an exact answer. Plus, it's going to reference, hey, where did it got that answer? What website did it get that answer from? So, for example, I was helping a client get his business license in the city of Yucaipa, for example. So I asked the question, hey, in the city of Yucaipa in California, how long does it take? How long is the process to get a business license? If I go to Google, Google's like, here's 1,000 websites, find the answer, you're on your own. But what Perplexity does is it says, oh, here's the answer, summarized. In Yucaipa, it takes typically 3 weeks. Awesome. Then it gives me a little more information. I'm like, hey, where did you get that answer? And then it has these little citations right here. So I'm like, oh, citation 2. And if I click on that,
Where are they?
oh, so right here at the very end of each sentence, there's a little number. See number 2?
Okay.
They're super tiny. And then you can see like right here, number 2, then this one, see if there's another number. Yeah, so mainly got everything from that one number, everything from citation number 2. Now it went and read all of these websites, these 7 websites right here, read them in a second, and then I could go, it showed me where it got that answer, and it's like, oh, it got the answer from this website. And I'm like, okay, and I could read here if I want a little bit more. So what Perplexity does is you instantly get answers for questions that are up to date and on the web, where ChatGPT is pre-programmed with information. Yes, ChatGPT can also search the web as another feature, but it's not the best at it. And the main takeaway is ChatGPT isn't the best AI tool out of all. There are many different AI tools, and I want to also show you this slide right here, for example. The goal is, when it comes to AI, just in general, is that whatever task that you're working on, specific tasks, there is a AI tool. This is a great list right here. There is a specific AI tool out there. You could take a picture or yeah, see, it's gonna be the best. Also, actually, better yet, I'll take a screenshot and then email it to you.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, let's do that. I'll do that.
What do you use when you do screenshot?
Oh, excellent question. On Macs, Mac has a built-in both what it's doing right now is recording the screen, built in completely for free. So right now it has a video recorder, and then second to it, it also has a built-in screen capture. So if I press Command Shift 5, or actually it's Command Shift 4, now my cursor looks like a little target, and I could go click and drag, and then let go. And then here is the image that it's saved right here. That's why Mac is so nice, that they're always adding lots of free features. So I'll send you this in an email. So what this is here is a list of my top 50 AI tools. So if you're, say for example, I get a lot of people that they want to write their own book, or they want to write something more, even a newsletter also too. There's an AI like this is
Capital S, capital O,
oh
capital L, capital.
no worries. So there's AI tools that are better for
Yeah,
writing.
something happened.
Say like Write Seed, for example. So this,
Yeah,
oops,
only my creative team has this Mac. The other rest of us have PCs.
wonderful. No worries. Yeah, and just it's a slow adoption, but trust it, it will make life easier. So, yes, ChatGPT can write an article or write a news blog, but it's not the best at it. So that's where the main thing is like, hey, what task are we working on? Oh, we want to write. There's probably an AI tool, say for example, like this one, WriteSeed, that's really good at writing blogs, articles, stuff like that. So that's the main what we're seeing. Um, where people are eventually going to get into is they're going to have to get skilled in somewhere between 3 to 5 AI tools, some tool depending on their whatever task or project that they're working on. So, like personally for me, I go between ChatGPT and Claude as my main two. Sometimes I find Claude is really good at writing blog posts and creating, doing coding or creating stuff like that. And then ChatGPT is just a really good, like a college intern that I could just use for tasks and little things that I'm working on, for example. And then if I have a question, I'm like, hey, I have a question, I want the most up to date real time information. Then I'll go to Perplexity, for example, to go and get that answer and come back.
Oftentimes, our newsletter aren't just about general facts, but they're about stories from our members.
Oh,
So we have to
beautiful.
do a lot of research to go on Facebook or whatever and read some of the stories from them, or they can submit stories.
Ah, this is actually kind of cool. Um, if you take a screenshot in Mac, Control Shift 4, and if I take a screenshot of this, say this was a Facebook comment that someone wrote some text there. If I take a screenshot and open that up, the great thing about both on the iPhone, tablets, and the computer, any image that you take, it will, you can copy the text from this. Right now it's being stubborn. But you can highlight text and take this out. But also, cool thing too is you can just uh, look at, let's say this was a Facebook page with a bunch of comments. You're like, oh, people said a lot of great things about it. Without having to read and transcribe back and forth, I could take a screenshot of this text, and then I could go to ChatGPT, and then let's see if it should. I could say, go to a new chat. Use this image text in a blog article, for example. And if I'm on, this is for the paid plan, you get ChatGPT 4.0. There's a little paperclip icon. If I click that paperclip icon, and
You
if
can save it.
I could add that picture or screenshot, but right now it's like I'm kind of like recording. Let me see if I can take something. It will basically read that text, and then automatically add it. So if you give ChatGPT images, it will extract the text out of those images to use in whatever task or project that you're working on, for example. I don't have. Do I have? Oh, here's okay. Here, this is oh no, it's trying to find something with text. I don't have anything with text off the top, but yeah. So with ChatGPT, you can upload images, and then you could extract information from it to use in whatever task or project that you're working on, for example. Let's see. Those are the
What if
main.
I want to create a logo?
Beautiful. What I highly recommend, yes, ChatGPT can create images, but it's not the best image generator, for example. The best, there's two for images. If I go here, image generation right here, which is kind of cool. This little screenshot, I'll give it to you. There's three tools that or just two, I recommend. The first one is called Midjourney. Midjourney right now is probably the gold standard as far as creating images, logos, hyper realistic images. I mean, even something like this. This is it is very accurate as far as what you want to create. So if you're doing any image generation, highly recommend starting with Midjourney. It
Does
does.
that cost?
This one is called Midjourney.
Does that cost?
Yes, Well, you could use. Oh yeah, it does cost. Let's do Midjourney price. I'm gonna show you a free one right after this. Midjourney is $10 a month. $10 a month to start, but it will, because if you give ChatGPT a prompt for an image and then you try and edit or even have it make a change, it will create a completely different image every single time, which is very annoying kind of thing. So it makes it very hard to work as an image assistant. Where Midjourney is really good. Will I don't think I have my account. Yeah, I don't have my account. But it will when you give it a prompt, it will give you four different options, and then you could refine it, you could improve it. And then as far as logos, it's really good at creating logos and even hyper realistic images if you wanted to. It has the best detail. That one's paid. The free one is called Night Cafe. Let me bring this one up. Night Cafe is completely free. Ooh, wow, look at these. Wow. And Night Cafe allows you to create images, create logos, the same way. And I would say Night Cafe is really good too. Like, look at these. Oops, let me cancel this little guy so we see a little detail. Well, it's an amazing wooden pumpkin sculpture kind of thing. So highly recommend, especially if you're doing images. I have a lot of clients that are on Night Cafe and they love it. But then if they're more, I don't want to say on the professional side, but they want more higher quality in a sense, then they'll go to Midjourney on that level there.
And so can you tell it what quality you want?
Yes, you could tell it in basically how you describe the style of it. You want it realistic, you want it cartoon, you want it professional. It's now ChatGPT, when you give it a task or basically a prompt here, for example, Midjourney has a little bit different of a prompt. Let's see here. Create a image of a logo of a cat with a hat.
A red hat.
A red hat. This isn't going to actually draw it per se. This is just this is in ChatGPT. Okay, so this is kind of cool. In ChatGPT, there are other GPTs that other people have created, almost like an app store, basically. And so there's ones for writing, there's ones for image generation. These are all pre-programmed that people have created. And you could like scroll through here. There's categories for like writing, productivity, researching, lifestyle, education. And what people have done is they've created their own custom little GPT. They put a lot of work into like the description and fine tuning it, so it's really good at whatever that specific task. I'm gonna pick logo creator. Here's one, for example. So logo creator, and so
Is that another one plugin?
yeah. These are like free plugins in ChatGPT. I don't.
It's overwhelming.
There's a lot. It always changes and stuff. So in GPT, there's a little logo creator. So if I click start, now I'm using this. I'm like, okay, create me a logo of a cat with a red hat with a, what was it, feather in the hat. Enter. Okay. Oh, it's asking me follow-up questions because the person who created this added a little extra guide to say, hey, ask the user for more information. I'm going to say, how complex on a rating of 5, and then what color palette? Bold and vibrant. A bold and vibrant.
Red and gold, red and purple.
Okay. Well, that's actually a good thing I want to show you. So right now it's creating its own logo image. There we go, right off the bat. Now, here's something interesting with ChatGPT. If I click on it, I am now in ChatGPT's image editor mode. What that means is that rather than start with a whole new prompt to make a change, I'm going to say I could click this little icon right here. If I scroll down, I'm going to click this. What color would you like the hat?
Red.
Red. Or it's kind of already red. Well, we can make the feather red, for example. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of highlighting the area that I want to change or edit, for example, without changing the rest. So I'm going to say, hey, I selected this area right there. And then right here, it says, oh, you want to edit a selection. What would you like to change it to? I'm going to say, make the feather red. Scroll out, and then I'll press enter. And now, because ChatGPT is horrible, if you give it another prompt, it's going to create a whole new image kind of thing from scratch. But instead, so we highlighted a specific area, and we say, hey, ChatGPT, in this area, just do this one little change without messing up the rest of it. And so then, now it created with a red feather versus over here it had a gold feather. So then if I click on it, now this becomes the new logo or something like that, for example.
That's cute.
I'll save this.
Okay.
I'll save this and I'll share it with you. Wonderful. So that's creating, so you could do this with ChatGPT, but I highly recommend using the little edit feature to make revisions instead of, because what most people do is if I say,
let's see, show me an example of the edit, how you use that tool.
Absolutely. So I'm going to say, okay, I gave it a prompt. And even if we just do the basics, like starting from scratch, a new chat conversation, for example. It's okay. Brand new chat conversation. I'm going to say, create a image. The command is important. Draw an image, create an image. Then it goes into that drawing mode of a cute dog wearing a red hat with a red feather. Or actually with a gold feather, and we'll change it after. Gold feather. We'll change it in the next version. So I'm going to press enter. It's going into its little drawing mode. Boop, boop, boo, ba-doo, ba-doo, boop, boo, boop, boop, boo. Now, I like Night Cafe and the other ones. Actually, let's...
Oh, that's cute.
Okay, let's work it this way. Because in the previous one, I mentioned create a logo, and it created a logo version versus this. This is why it's very good to be very descriptive when you give it a prompt, hyper realistic, anything. So we're gonna change this. Okay, so it creates an image. I'm gonna click on it. We're now in its photo mode. It just expands it. Up here is a little paintbrush tool right there. So if I click on that tool, now if I click and hold my mouse, I'm going to just paint over. And when you paint, you want to go a little over the area. It's better to be over than less, like only inside. You don't have to be exact, just roughly that area. And then on the right hand side, it has a little edit selection here. If I click on here and I can say, make the feather. Feather red. Press enter. It's going to create an image. And anytime creating images, just add as much information, the better kind of thing. And so now, there we go. So it made the adjustment. It kept the face, it kept the same hat, and then it changed that feather from gold to now a red feather.
Right over here.
Right up here. The previous one was here. So there's the previous gold feather. And now it made that, kept everything else the same, but just changed it with the red feather. That's super nifty. I'll download this.
Very
Nice.
cute.
So that's creating images and logos. And then you could do the same with, I get a lot, I recommend playing around with Night Cafe. It will create much more creative images from there. And then Midjourney is like the best, but there's a different way to like prompt it per se. It has a lot of really good features in it.
You can go a whole day with this because I get caught up on it.
There's
Enough is enough. You can only change the wording so much.
Yeah, and you could go back and forth and stuff. But here's what the powerful feature it allows. It allows someone to honestly write. A lot of people wanted to write their own books. Oh, I have another great AI tool. Speaking of, say I want to write my own book, but I'm too slow typing and I'm all unorganized and stuff. But I want to write a book, for example. This is a tool called Otter. Otter. Let me see if I.
Otter.
Yeah, Otter. Otter. Period. Otter. Period. AI is the website. What Otter does, Otter's like having a personal assistant record the audio. Say I get talking to my phone or into my laptop. I can record the audio. It's actually, and it will transcribe it in real time. So say for example, watch this. So I'm going to click the record button, see if it does it. Hello and welcome to today's lecture. My name is Jonathan Acuna and today we're going to learn all about AI, and I've always wanted to write my first book, so this is how I want the first chapter to go. Click stop. It's going to transcribe. This is really cool because if you have like a meeting and you have a bunch of different people in the meeting, it will separate meter 1, 2. But now it's done two things. One, it recorded the audio. If it does it. Hello and welcome to today's lecture. My name is Jonathan Acuna. And then it instantly transcribed everything I said to text. So then what it allows you to do is just brain dump. You could just talk an hour, a whole podcast, or just talk. Then you can now take this text and then give this text like here, export. You could just copy this text and then give it to ChatGPT and then say, organize this for a first chapter for my book, for example. And I press, whenever I give it a command and I give it some information to do something with, I always like to put a little colon. I'm like, okay, hey, here's the task, here's the information I want you to do it with. I'll press enter. It's like, okay, cool. Hey, here's my first chapter of my book. And I could be unorganized as much as I want, but I could pull meetings out. And that's why I like Otter, because it allows you to, it's like having a personal assistant write things down faster than I could type, basically. Nice. Any other use cases that you like to?
No, it's really what we use it for. But me pulling stories from members, you can't help. ChatGPT can't help. Maybe rewrite it.
Yes. Say for that's the screenshot tool. Let's say like Facebook comments. Okay, let's say someone wrote this comment, for example. Hey, let me open this. Okay, someone in Facebook wrote this comment, for example. You can either, I recommend taking a screenshot of it. So now if I save image, save it to my downloads. Now I could just take a screenshot of like the whole page, which is nice. So there's a bunch of them, for example. And then I could go into ChatGPT, start a new conversation, and then when I click the paperclip icon, now I can find that screenshot. Mm, yeah, that's it. Cool. And I could say extract the comment and add it to a newsletter that begins with what are
Our trip to
oh,
the our
yeah.
our trip to the cruise to sail and celebrate.
To celebrate. Speaking of like mistyping kind of thing, because I'm a horrible typer. Have you guys heard of Grammarly?
Of course.
Wonderful. Yeah. It's always a good one. So I have Grammarly, and Grammarly is always helpful. So cool. Uploaded image. The image has text. I gave it a command, extract the comment, and add it to our newsletter, our trip about the cruise to celebrate. Press enter. It will read the image, read the text in any image, and then without having to retype it, it typed it for me. So it's like, oh, it was a wonderful experience. We had the opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And then Mita Jackson said, it was wonderful to meet everyone with our councilwoman, da, 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 da. So I didn't have to type or any of that. I just took a screenshot, added it, and then said, hey, add this to our newsletter kind of thing, basically.
Oh, I was going to look at it, and then I realized it wasn't the right stuff.
But it's a good
So,
example, because then I could be like, oh, where did you get that? Oh, I got it from this. And you could
and,
screenshot a bunch of them too, just like the whole page.
mhm. Was the goal is to try and be more a stronger website. So that's the core where they do the communicating.
Ah,
Right
gotcha.
now, they're doing the communicating through Facebook, and we don't want them on that.
Nice. You want them through the email newsletter?
Yeah,
That makes sense. Yeah, that's gonna. What are you guys using as far as your email tool?
I don't remember. I don't remember what it is.
Okay, because there's a couple just some are pricey and stuff, but I recommend this is kind of separate, but I really like ConvertKit, or they changed their name. It's called Kit now. Kit's a very depending on if you're paying more, for example, or something. Do you know how many members are on that list, roughly?
Probably about 20,000.
Okay, 20. So roughly 20,000. So depending on if you guys are paying more, this is just another tool for 150 a month that is really good for email newsletters, blasts, any email stuff like that. Really, it's just real simple to use kind of thing. But this one's called Kit. I use it for a lot of my clients. I put them on that, so when they have a newsletter or something like that,
So the kit does what?
Kit does. It's basically for email marketing, for creating newsletters, emailing many different subscribers. You can do a lot of like separating of them. Like here's new members, here's senior members, here's VIP members. So you can send
Oh,
messages
okay.
to different people. It's probably the easiest to use out of all the and it works with whatever tools you use for like automation and stuff like that for that. Nice. So let's review all the cool things that we learned. So starting off, we want to stay organized because we need a really good note-taking tool or document tool. So that's going to be what I highly recommend. And even just to eventually get off Basecamp, because Basecamp is pretty old. There's a lot of great features in Notion. Number one is get a Notion account. Um, and yeah, because with Notion, you could do two lists. One list for newsletter projects, for example. So like right here, here's an example of like projects. It's a list, like a Kanban board. So you're like, oh, here's the 5 emails that we're going to be working over the next few months. These ones are not started. These ones were in progress. These are done. And hey, this one that's in progress, who owns it or who's working on it right now? We can say, oh, Keisha is working on this one right now, and then Emily is also reviewing the other one. So you could assign different team members, and they could
Yeah,
all work
this works just
collaborate.
like chat. The other one we're using,
Yeah, Basecamp.
Basecamp.
Same thing.
It's exactly the same.
But this one's really powerful, and with Notion, you could dump all sorts of like this is an example of I have a file. Let's swipe. You can put all sorts of different document or different types of documents in here. So for example, I have in this one article, this is an example of someone's website. I was doing research, for example. So I wanted to save everything in here. So I have in this one sheet, I have a nice little table of contents, everything I know that's in this page. I have headers that I could organize, links. I could also save. This is a PDF document that I could. Oops, there we go. I could scroll into. So this is a whole PDF document that you don't even have to see the little file thing. You could be like, oh, what's in that document? Cool. Then we also have, this is just a giant image. So you can upload screenshots of, hey, we want this image for this logo, anything like that. Those are the main ones. Images, PDF files, bunch of different texts you can organize all nicely. And then it's in one master app, so you can find everything that you need pretty easily, kind of thing. So this is Notion. Then the other one is TickTick for just it's such a great task and project management, both for your personal life and for work too. Mainly for my just personal organization. It allows you to create simple tasks, add them to a calendar. It syncs with if you have a Gmail calendar, for example. It will send you reminders, and I also have a lot of clients that use it for like bill reminders. Hey, this rent is due on this day. The phone bill is due on this day. Hey, this is past due. Don't forget to do this. So it's great for like reminders of tasks, projects, bills, goals, and stuff like that. So this is TickTick. TickTick's only like $3 a month, which is amazing. It's like the cheapest. Then we went into ChatGPT, where we looked at the custom GPTs. We're on their paid plan. This is going to allow you to create a little GPT who's like a personal assistant, where you could create a template for creating your newsletters. Then you may want to check out Claude. Claude kind of has a different writing style. I'd say Claude has a much more human way of writing blog articles and any type of writing in general. I find Claude is like ChatGPT uses these unlock and discover and like really big words that people don't really use on a day to day. So Claude is just another one, and Claude is completely. You don't need to pay for their paid plan. I just been using Claude free, which is highly recommend. Then there's Perplexity, and Perplexity is going to replace Google.
How much is that?
Perplexity, I'm actually on their free plan for Perplexity, so you don't even have to pay for Perplexity's paid plan, because you only ask so many questions a day, unless you're like doing a lot of researching. But still, you could do unlimited free searches, but it's really great there. Then we got into image or logos, which is there's Night Cafe, for example, and I would stay. Midjourney's there. It's advanced if you want like a really high, like really good quality images. I recommend Midjourney, but Night Cafe is completely free, very powerful for creating any AI art. And
So
then
how does all this stuff get free?
you are the customer in a sense that all of any AI tool that you use at the end of the day is trying to gather data, more input to improve the models. So the more data you use, the more data that it will use that data to train its models to get better over time. But a lot of them have a great free plan, and then a lot of them also have some paid plans because their
Now, when they're
demographic.
free, does that mean the public can look at it?
No, great question. The public, for any of the tools that we've mentioned, anything that you put in it is not publicly accessible or something like that. Nothing to worry about. However, there is a caveat with I always recommend with don't put personal information into like ChatGPT. It's going to happen at the end of the day. Like it just happens naturally. You have questions and projects and stuff. It's going to happen, but just as a good information, not it's not a good practice to put like PHI or personal information into it. Nothing nefarious is going to happen. It's not searchable anywhere. But understand all like ChatGPT, all that data goes to like Microsoft, which Microsoft doesn't really make good products. But that's another thing. And then the last app that we talked about is Otter, Otter. And that one's great for voice dictation notes.
Voice dictate. Okay.
It's great. So it's like, and all of these apps, ChatGPT, well, actually, only ChatGPT, Claude, Otter, and Perplexity. Well, actually, let's make it just very simple. I highly recommend downloading ChatGPT and Perplexity on your phone. They have free apps that you can sync your conversation so you can pick up where you left off on ChatGPT, both on your phone and then on your computer. Because it's great. I'll be sitting in like drive-through and I'm like, well, I got 10 minutes to kill. Let me talk with ChatGPT and I'll use Apple's voice to text instead of typing that has a little
Right.
microphone, and I'll just use that to be like, oh, let's come up with a marketing campaign that should promote XYZ, blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I get home, most of it's already done. And I'm like, okay, cool. And Perplexity is great because I'll have a question. So I'll just use Perplexity on my phone, and then I could get a really good answer without having to do the Google search kind of thing. Yeah, and then you'll also get a screenshot of these, which are the 50 best AI tools for any type of
This is great.
other tasks that you're working on and stuff. This one I really like an update.